What is the most random thing a stranger has said to you? When visiting Anchorage, Alaska, this random old dude walked up to me and said, "Didn't I run into you once in Nebraska?" I said, "Nope, I've never been to Nebraska." His reply, "Neither have I. Must have been two other people." I got trolled. Well, I just decided what I'm doing next time I go anywhere. I was walking around Montreal one day, I'm American, minding my own business and not saying anything, and someone passing me smiled and said, "Welcome to Canada." How the heck do they always know? They don't. They just tell each other that all the time. When I was a kid, I was walking to the store by myself when a group of teenagers started laughing and approached me. I got a little nervous since I was alone. One of the teenagers said, "Here kid, you can have this." It was $1. He gave it to me and his group just kept walking. No idea why it happened. Didn't seem to be tainted in any way. It was just a regular old dollar. Went to the store and got candy. Woo. I totally did this to a kid once. With the whole weirdly dickish attitude and everything. I'm as confused about it as you are. A homeless man once told my two friends and I that it was our destiny to save the world. We assured him that we were working on it, and he left happy. If in the next few years, you and your friends find yourselves bestowed with superpowers and or giant mechas to fight evil with, keep us posted. Walking through downtown Chicago one evening, I was asked for change by a bum as I walked past him. I informed him that I had no change and continued on my way. A second or so after passing him, I heard "Taste the Rainbow" butthole and was almost simultaneously pelted by a handful of Skittles. It's one of my fonder memories of interaction with a homeless person. Man, he could have eaten those Skittles. What a stupid homeless person. I was walking out of the grocery store when a middle-aged man approached me and said something like, "Do you know that redhead that lives around here? You should meet her. I mean, you're not the worst." An elderly African American gentleman told me to stay black. I'm white, but I took it as a compliment from one soul brother to another. A black guy once bumped into my lily white boyfriend in a cafeteria and said, "Oh, sorry my N." My boyfriend now prides himself in being an honorary N. In a restaurant while waiting for a meal when I was 8 or so, an old man walked up to me and asked if I would like a hot dog before my meal. Halfway through saying no, he handed me a picture of a tiny wiener dog on a hot dog bun. It completely made my day. This is how we used to share funny pictures before the internets. I'm pretty sure that is from Armageddon. In NYC, a bum came up to me and said, "Man, what the white man did to your people was terrible. I love those teepees you live in though." My response was, "Hey man, I'm Indian, you know, like from India. I'm not Native American." His reply, "Man, I'm fricked up. You look like a teepee type of guy." Yay. Sorry about making you guys all move to India. I know you must miss America, but India's a nice place too. Not as much room for your teepees, but elephants are a lot nicer than horses. I was once walking down the street when an old woman who was walking past me said, "Don't worry John, everything's going to be okay," and kept on walking without turning back as I stood there thinking what the frick to myself. I had never met her before in my life, yet she knew my name. A resistance fighter from the future. Just you wait till a Terminator turns up at your door. I was homeless in AZ for a bit and I just checked into this mission and sat down and the guy next to me asks me, "How did you survive?" "Man, I saw you. You shot that cop and he shot you." Tried to explain that it wasn't me, but it just pissed him off. I was sitting at my bus stop after work one day when an older homeless man walked up and stood right beside me for a good 5 minutes. Suddenly, he just looks at me and says, "HS better than P," and walks away. I was standing around waiting for my ride home at the university I went to. I must not look happy when I'm standing alone because this guy who looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo said, "Hey man, you dropped your smile," as he walked past me and pointed to the ground. He kept walking like nothing had ever happened. It did make me smile a bit though. I walked out of a little county store once and some old guy was sitting in a chair by the front door and yelled at me, "Hey boy, what you doing?" I turned around and yelled back, "I'm going home," and he yells, "Alright, sounds good." I think he may have invited himself over. Walking out of a Starbucks, get approached by a guy, "Hey kid, How many cats you got? I was too surprised to say I didn't own any pets and manager what? He points back into the coffee shop and says, how many cats? I didn't see any cats in there. You sure? At this point, a cute girl walks out with her coffee. Stranger guy goes apeshit. Hey kitty. Yeah, you. Meow meow kitty cat. I got the frick away so fast. Next time that happens, just politely say 7 and keep moving. I've got a couple. 1. When I was 11 I got to visit Scotland with my mom and one of my sisters. We were visiting Edinburgh Castle and had stopped to rest on a park bench outside the walls. This seemingly drunk guy toting a bottle and wearing a skirt and bright red lipstick came up to us and asked us loudly where we were from. My mom said America. He yelled, oh, I'm going to America to get mass exchanged, and those are my kids over there. Then he pointed to a young couple making out by a tree. My 11-year-old brain nearly exploded. 2. I was in college, sitting on a bench in the Fine Arts building. I had happened to wear a skirt that day. This old man walks up to me and tells me that he's so glad to see me wearing a skirt because women these days don't know how to dress properly, and then he walked off. I had a friend who told me she had been approached by the same guy while wearing jeans and had basically been told that she was sloppy and unfeminine. 3. My sister was walking to campus one day when a drunk guy shambled up to her and screamed, "You're as pretty as the sunshine," just as he was passing her. When she made an alarmed face, he turned around and yelled, "Don't look at me like that. I'm trying to pay you a compliment." Freshman year of college, I was leaning against a wall on Haight Street smoking a cig. It was the middle of the day and the 2 girls I was with had gone into some girly store to shop. So I was doing the manly lurk outside the store looking bored thing when a homeless guy walks past. Now homeless people are a common sight in San Francisco, so I didn't think much of him until he spoke to me. He looked right at me and said, "Keep leaning against that wall and you'll turn out just like me, man." The bum looked exactly like me. I swear on my life it was like looking in a mirror that aged my face 20 years. The guy disappeared into the crowd singing some little song, and I was left standing speechless until my friends came out of the store. So your future self was telling you to get your crap together. 2 friends and I were simply tossing the football on a side street near my buddy's house last summer. Man drives up, rolls down the window, says arms are gonna be sore tomorrow with a lisp, and drives away. Arms are gonna be sore tomorrow. Walking down the street one day, a woman runs up to me and says, "You look just like what my daughter is going to look like in 10 years. Should have kept and said with a straight face, "Ma'am, I'm a stripper." Not that random, but when I worked at a coffee shop, an 80-ish-year-old man took a sip and went, "Dang, this coffee is hotter than my wife," and it was pretty funny. Would have been brilliant if the coffee was cold. I was at the Bonnaroo Music Festival, wandering back to my campsite when a shirtless man, looking not unlike White Jesus, starts walking straight at me from a distance. Following at a short distance behind him is a group of people, looking not unlike a throng of disciples. When the shirtless man reaches me, he raises one hand to stop and silence his followers, then rests that hand on my shoulder, looks me in the eyes and shouts, "Nothing goes in my body but drugs and ham sandwiches." A great cheer erupts from his followers. He bows a little and continues on his way. LOL, music festivals are full of the best crazies. My friend got knighted by a guy being carried around in a chair because he bowed as the guy was carried past. Lmao. I was smoking outside of a bar in NYC with a buddy, and this homeless guy comes up to us and starts telling us how the Jews were responsible for 9/11. My buddy is Jewish and starts telling him that it's true. They sent out an email and everything warning all Jewish people about it. This guy starts flipping out and then asked for a cigarette. I gave him one and then he acted like nothing ever happened. Poor dude, your friend just confirmed years of conspiracy research to him. There is an old man who rides the downtown bus frequently. He has big bulging eyes and shakes violently. He uses a walker and slowly walks down the bus, shaking. Sometimes he looks at me and hisses loudly the words "Tiger P." If that's something that happens on a regular basis, you should print a picture of a Tiger P for next time. I was in Washington, D.C., visiting a friend, and we decided to go out on the town to acquire a nice buzz. Needless to say, we were a tad inebriated and got separated. I met some pretty girls while on the street and decided to follow them. I soon found myself at an all-black club. I was the only white guy, with everyone looking at me. I stepped outside where I overheard two guys making fun of me saying, "Check out his Brad Pitt looking butt." So drunkenly I approached them and asked if they had a problem. They both chuckled, asked me if I was from out of town, gave me a hit of the blunt they were smoking, and then proceeded to give me $5 saying, "Welcome to DC, a truly strange yet awesome experience." Brad Pitt looking butt is a good thing. It was not an all black bar, it was a gay bar, dude. I was walking home from the library at about 9:30 one night and I passed a group of teenagers. One of them looked at me and said, "Isn't it a little late for books? Looks like we got ourselves a reader." Two 18-ish boys once hit on me and asked me if I had FB or MSN while I was at a bus stop. I said no and tried ignore them. Then they asked me how old I am and I told them I'm 23. That's when they started laughing at me, saying they thought I was 15. Not sure if they were looking for 15-year-olds or just insulting me. I'm sorry for being a dong. I was in the supermarket and there was a guy in a beanie and aviator glasses just standing there next to the meat section. I passed him a couple times before he turned to me and said, "I'm flying in the sky of imagination." I was a cocktail waitress at my parents' bar and one night an older gentleman smiled at me and I politely smiled back. I gave him his drinks and he lightly took both of my hands and looked me square in the eyes and said, "You look so beautiful tonight. Any man would be lucky to have you." My knees almost buckled, I was so swooned. As I was walking away with an awkward smile on my face I heard him say to his friend, "See, that's how it's done." Oh. Once I was at a movie theater with my friends. We gave our tickets to the scraggly looking ticket taker, and he said in a slow dreamy voice, "Always beware the man with 3 beards." I told him I'd keep an eye out, and we walked off. If I ever see a man with 3 beards, I will probably take off running. I have a Russian one for you. I was riding the city bus a few years back and me being an average height scrawny male found myself getting picked as usual. This large Tongan tried to talk me into fighting him when the bus got to his stop. A Russian, I crap you not, with a scar on one eye, turns to me and in a calm controlled voice says, "Do you want me to kill him for you?" I regretfully said no, but that was the closest thing to having a man's life in my hands that I've ever experienced. Badassery right there, and I hate to be that guy, but scrawny. I was running in the city and a guy stuck his arm out of the window and yelled, "High five for exercise," so I swerved toward him and gave him a high five. He exclaimed, "I love this lady." That's actually a non-creepy story, and I loved it. I was in Islands of Adventure and I got recognized by somebody for my Tumblr account. "Hey, you're that Raven Claudia girl." "Yep, hi, what's up? I'm a big fan of your cooking." They just walked away after that. I don't even cook. I was wearing a Deadpool t-shirt and I walked past this guy. He said that he liked my shirt and just kept walking. After he was a few feet behind me he said to his friend, "I want a shirt like that. I should just kill him and take it. That's what Deadpool would want me to do, right? But then I'd get it all bloody." He then proceeded to list off the pros and cons of murdering me for me shirt. "I got kissed by an angel this morning," said an old man sitting at a bench. It turns out that phrase saved my life. Just as I paused to think and laugh at what he said, an SUV lost control of itself, hurtled towards me as I was just about to cross the street. I was able to jump away. If I didn't pause, the SUV would have hit me head on. Just last night my buddy and I were walking down the main road. I got a call and we had to turn around and walk the other way to grab some liquor. Just as we turn around an SUV slammed into a light post a few feet in the direction we were walking. Mind blowing. Living in South London I have plenty, but perhaps the most baffling incident was when I was waiting at a bus stop at about 2 AM. A car pulled up near me, its passenger side window wound down. A woman leaned out and shouted out me, "Oh, penguin. Yeah, you're fricking penguin." She then proceeded to take a couple of photographs of me and then the car drove off. Last week I was at work when a little old Chinese lady came up to me and said Happy New Year. I returned the greeting and then she asked if I knew when Chinese New Year was. So I said yes. I actually did. Then she said it's year of dragon. Many people think dragon good luck. They try to have baby. Maybe you have baby if the year of the dragon really is good luck. I won't have a baby. Thanks, Miss Swan. I used to have a job cleaning up the downtown area of my hometown. There was a lady who clearly had some mental problems. She used to come up to my co-workers and say the weirdest stuff. Our first encounter went something like this. This happened about 3 years ago, so I am paraphrasing her. Out of nowhere, what do you think of Shania Twain? Us. She's alright I guess. Her. She thinks she is hot crap. All the men want to sleep with her. I'd like to see her try that crap in Buckingham Palace. The Queen would drop kick her in the face. Us. Uproarious laughter. So this probably won't get noticed, but I was standing outside a Barnes & Noble in New York City, sad about something that I can't remember. Apparently I was slouching or something because a man walking by stopped and said, "Stand up straight and smile, you're pretty." When I looked up to see his face I crap you not. The man was Ian McKellen Gandalf, Magneto. I was too shocked to say anything. All I could do was smile and he walked away. Holy crap, Ian McKellen is like my dream grandpa. You've no idea how jealous I am right now. When I was around 6 or 7, my parents and I were coming out of a toy store, me with a toy gun in my hand. Out of nowhere, this old man approaches us, looks at me and with a sullen look on his face says I wish you'd bought a book instead, and walks off. Currently I'm 23 and a huge bookworm and I can never think of parting with all the books I've collected throughout the years. Maybe he had powers, who knows. I was walking down the street in NYC and had a leftover 2L bottle of some generic cola that I didn't want. I saw the guy walking the opposite direction and I held my hand out with the soda in it in front of him. He took it and we didn't look at each other. It looked like some kind of spy drop. I got onto an elevator once along with some other people, and this one man turned to us and said, "I bet you're wondering why I've gathered you all here today." It was really weird. Everyone just looked at each other and ignored him. Some old homeless man came up to me outside of a burrito shop and said with 100% seriousness, "When I die, everybody dies." I went home. A solipsist. I was in a coffee shop late at night waiting to make my order. A random guy walks in, stands right in front of me and looks me in the eye for a few seconds and then says, "Yo, give me your hands." Apparently he wanted to show me how cold he was after biking in the winter. He never ordered anything and left. Was downtown in Portland eating a taco and this old lady comes up to us. "Lady, you ever mix cabbage and salt?" Us. Confused look. "Lady, cause you just killed 6 freaking kids today, it's 12 o'clock. Us. Walked. I took a photography class in high school. I'm a nerdy white guy. Love photography, but the class was a joke and nobody did anything. It was just filler. One day, I get up to leave, and a husky black chick comes up to me, grabs a big handful of butt. She then exclaims, "Dang boy, you got a butt." Note, does not use an. There was an awkward silence. I'm not sure if she expected me to say thank you or something. I just looked at her dumbfounded and walked away. I actually do have a pretty spectacular butt. Common nerdy white guy. Spectacular butt. Swoon. A homeless guy washes car windshields in Boston when you're stopped at a red light. One time when I was with a few friends, he washed our windshield and we gave him $5 I think. His face lights up and he says, "Oh wow brother, you my favorite brother at this light." The next wash is on me. Merry Christmas brother, that guy is the man. But how the frick could he remember to give us a free wash next time? I think you didn't understand. Next wash is on me, that's mean. I'm going to take the first shower in months. Random child comes up to me. "Do you know why you're so fat?" and then proceeds to tell me because you eat all the time. Her mom just smiled at me. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.